Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're checking out one of Kotobukiya's Zone of the Enders kits. Here it is the Dolores kit, and the really cool thing that I like about this box art is that you can't really tell which way the box art is supposed to go. It's all kind of one way or the other, which is really interesting. So it's beautiful box art here, and it looks like a really nice kit. I've built one other Zone of the Enders kit from Kotobukiya before, the Anubis kit. You can check out that review if you've missed it, but a really cool series. And the kit, of course, looks really nice. Let's go ahead and check it out for today's video. So yeah, like I said, not really knowing which way this box art is supposed to go. You can see we have some text going this way, but then this text is like this way, and then we have this image here of Dolores sitting like that, or Dolores I should say, and then the other way, the other image is going like this way. So I don't know, maybe flying upside down and sitting like that. Maybe that's right, something like that. But really cool artwork there, just to give you guys a nice close look at like the painting style here for the artwork. It looks really, really cool. You can even see like some of like the text markings there on the head and everything. On the end of the box here, you can see the Zone of the Enders, Dolores I logo and text and everything here. And then over here on this side of the box, we can see some more images of the actual kit, what that's gonna look like all built and painted up, and some of the features and kind of gimmicks. You can see a bit about the articulation, kind of what's all included in there, and then like how the kit is gonna look. It looks like we are going to have an included stand as well. And here you can see the continuation of the image from the front with the character illustration there as well. And then on the other side of the box, nothing really too much here, but we can see our MSRP here. It was actually over here for 7,500 yen. And again, with this one, kind of the continuation of the box art image wrapped around onto the side there, which is pretty cool. So 7,500 yen, definitely a little bit higher on the price range, I want to say. But again, my experience with these kits is that they're really, really nice. And if you're a Zone of Enders fan, you unfortunately just don't really have many options when it comes to model kits. So it looks like, maybe I was right with the box art, with the sitting pose being the bottom and then the flying pose being upside down. That's kind of how it's supposed to be orientated. That's how it is here on the front of the manual anyway. And then the back's just gonna look like that. But this is going to be like a long, well, even the manual's different. Okay, so the front of the manual is like this, it would seem like from the text, but then you open it up and then you gotta turn it again and it's vertical. Here we have more images of the painted kit here, more sample images that you can see everything there like that. And if I turn the page, yeah, it's gonna continue on in that fashion, which is weird. So here's our parts list. And it's definitely weird to have the manual going like long ways like this. I'm not sure if I've ever built one. I've built Kotobukiya kits, especially like the Zoids Kotobukiya kits, usually go like this. The manuals are very similar, but they go like that, not like vertically, sort of, as it would seem. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. Even the Anubis kit, I don't think was like that, if I remember correctly. But here at the very back, we've got the color guide and decal guide. We do have a couple of decals included, but there's the colors. Quite a lot of colors in here. Like, it's mostly kind of pinks and different shades of pink, but there's other stuff in there as well. And then, like I said, yeah, we have a couple of decals, emphasis on a couple because it's like just 2 decals. We have 2 of each, but a couple of nice little decals here for the kit. So of course in here we also have the stand, which is in a really nice like matte black there with the logo printed on it in white. Very nice. And then here, pre-bagged, and as we can kind of get into the runners as well, we've got the parts for the arm of the stand, which also look to be in that kind of clear black there as well. This runner looks to be like runner J here, which is going to be our clear green parts. Then we've got some other very small runners here bagged up. Runner K is in a smoke clear, runner L as well. Runner N is in like a bluish kind of color there, so kind of like lavender blue, and then runner M is a part there in clear orange. And as for the rest of our runners here, we have a polycap runner, which is in like a bluish gray, like a navy gray kind of color here. We've got 2 of those. And then runners A, B, and C are all going to be in the main light pink color here, which looks quite nice. There's runner A, runner B. It's a bit smaller, and then we're going to have 2 of runner C here, as you can see there. Runners D and E are in a little bit darker pink, almost sort of like a salmon kind of color, I guess. Runner D and then runner E we have 2 of as well. And then runners F and G are in a sort of like a bright magenta, a dark magenta kind of. I'm not sure exactly how to describe it. Very interesting color here is runner F. And again, we've got 2 of runner G. And lastly, runners H and I are like the polycaps in a kind of grayish navy kind of color here for mostly like the joints and sort of inner frame, as it were. We've got 2 of runner I, and that's it. You can see there's a lot of nice detail on here. I think the kit's going to be pretty nice looking when it's all put together. So let's go ahead and do that, and we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, and here is the kit all built up. Really nice build on this one. Super highly articulated, as you would hope to, just based on kind of the source material and what we've seen on the box art and on the images there in the manual. So the articulation does do a really good job of making this kit just super dynamic, as you'll see once we get into the review part here. But just the kit on its own, as you can see, it can actually stand up on its own, which you might not expect with those feet like that, but there's another cool gimmick in there which helps the kit to stand. And we got some pretty cool accessories here with the kit as well. It just looks great straight out of the box with the different shades of pink and the clear green on there. It looks really good. So let's go ahead and get into it here, starting off with the accessories. And so first off, if you didn't want to rely on these feet, which do help it to stand, but it's not exactly the most stable. It's a pretty cool gimmick, basically how these parts will just fold down. These parts are articulated, and then when not standing on them, those will just fold up like that, and just kind of how they're typically meant to look. But it is a cool gimmick that you're able to fold those down to have the kit stand on its own if you did want to. That said, fortunately, we do have this really cool base. This has a number of points of articulation where this can bend and also rotate, so you're able to get this basically anywhere where you want. You can also omit this second section right here and just have the connection peg just plugged right onto there if you just wanted a kind of more low profile connection. As the spot where this is going to plug in is going to be right here, right on the back. There's a little panel covering up the connection point. You can pop that off, and you can see where that's going to connect right into the back of the hip section there. Next up then, as for our hand options, I love these asymmetrical raccoon hands that we have here for this, but you have these where the hands kind of like stretched out back like that, and then you have another set of open hands where they're just kind of open and resting like that. Not necessarily like the most expressive, but just an open outstretched pose there. And all these you have for both the left and the right side, by the way. And then we've also got a set of just closed fist hands like this. And again, because they're symmetrical, it really doesn't matter which one's for the right and left, but you've got two of each of these hand option parts. We've also got some options for the entirety of the arm, so you can take off the arm there below the elbow and swap it out for the blade type forearms. And we've got two of these, so you can have two blade arms for the left and the right side if you want. Pretty simple design there, but pretty cool. And then for the right side only, we've also got the gun arm equipment here that, again, you're just going to swap there, basically swapping out the forearm for this gun arm like that. Again, just a couple of different parts there, but nice design. If we go around here onto the back of the arm, this little thin part right here is where we can pop that off, and we're going to replace it with this part here, which is a shield part. So obviously not going to really be too much of a shield there, but that's what you're meant to use for using the shield for the arms. And we do have one of these for both the left and the right side. Around here on the back, the wings, we're gonna swap for an open state wing. So basically just this is the closed state. For the open state, it looks like that. All these parts kind of opened up, looks pretty cool there. And that's just gonna be a real easy swap of just this 3mm peg right there. So yeah, you could opt to put something else onto here if you wanted to use some other different like Kotobukiya MSG option part or weapon or something like that. You could store on the back. It is just your standard 3mm peg on there. And then lastly, our option parts here for the chest. So just to show you what these look like, they are meant to have more colors like on the inside of there, but all your detail is molded in, so you can mask and paint that if you want. But basically we're gonna have to do a little bit of disassembly here for this part, like the side of the torso, you're gonna pop off. Gonna swap it for this piece on here like that, and then put the arm back on. And after repeating for the other side, here's how that's gonna look. Pretty cool, definitely a really cool effect that you have for this. That's it for all of our accessories. A lot of really cool stuff there, as you can see. And just to give you guys a sense of the size of this kit, here it is compared with a 1/100 scale Gundam model kit. So you can see it's going to be pretty similar in height. The height of this one coming up to about 18 centimeters total. But just to focus in on the kit itself here for a second too, like I said, those clear parts look really nice. Even this clear black part for the visor there on the head, and then the clear red or kind of clear pink parts there for like the eyes or fake eyes there up on the top of the head as well. I'm not sure, the eyes behind the black part or up on the top of the head. Anyway, all looks really nice. You have this clear part here on the front, and there is some really nice detail. If you catch it in the right lighting, you can see some of that detail underneath that clear black part in this front crotch section there, the cockpit as it were. But that looks pretty nice. It's not actually able to open or anything. I guess you could like just leave that part off, or what I would recommend, maybe if you want to be able to see some of that detail a little bit better, is paint some of those bits inside there, either like silver or gold or some other kind of color that would catch the light nicely underneath that clear black. You are going to have a couple of seam lines here and there, not really too many. Here on the back of the leg, for example, there's a seam line down through that darker pink part right there, for example. And then, like I said, we've got some really nice articulation with the head being able to move up and down at a couple of points there in the neck. This part here of the back of the hair, well, all the kind of parts of the hair, quote unquote hair, are able to move. Like, to show you how these parts move, I'm just going to take the head off. As the, like, with these really high collar pieces, it's not really a whole lot of room for these parts to actually move, but they do have some nice articulation in that these front parts can move separately, and then this whole part for like the side of the hair all moves. These bits here on the top can also move up and down like that. They can wiggle, and then this part at the back can also lift up there like that. So a lot of nice articulation here, but again, a lot of that is going to be just kind of limited because there's just not a whole lot of room for that stuff to move around here with this. The shoulder is just on a ball joint, but the shoulder armor will be able to move up and down there. We have a double joint at the elbow, which is only going to really give you about 90 degrees, but you also have rotation both above and below the elbow joint there, so you can get that moved all around in every which way. The hand itself also just on a peg, so that can rotate around, and this is the case for all the hands. And there's a joint which will allow you to change the angle of that in and out there like that. It does kind of tend to pop off sometimes if you're not careful with it, so just move it gently. In the waist section, we've got a ball joint at the top and bottom of this midsection here, giving us a good range of movement side to side. There's another seam line right there too down the middle of that center section. And this kind of back piece of armor here on the back side is the only part that really tends to fall off. I'm noticing, and just because it's attached via this small little ball joint, but because of that, you can move it around and change the position of that, but it does tend to kind of pop off from time to time. Here, the hip joint is set at an angle, so you can move the legs out and up and kind of adjust the legs in and out kind of all over the place. And then you have some rotation there at the top of the hip joint. And then down here, like with the elbows, you have rotation at the knee as well. If you bring the leg up, that double joint in the knee is going to give you a pretty full bend there, which looks pretty nice. And with that, let's take a look at the kit in a few different poses here just to wrap up the review. So really cool kit. If you're a fan of the series, definitely worth checking out. But that said, even if you're not like a Zone of the Enders fan, this is just a really cool mecha model kit just because it's so different and so unique. One that I could definitely recommend for you guys. I mean, if you're not into the pink, you could obviously repaint it in different colors. If you wanted to paint this more sort of like the Anubis and that kind of black and brown kind of color scheme, that might look cool. You do have those clear green parts, and while you can paint everything else, I mean, painting those clear green parts into a different clear color obviously isn't really possible, so you're stuck with those being clear green unless you want to just paint them into like a solid color, which could honestly also work. Anyway, despite what you may think about the colors, it's a really cool, unique design with some really nice option parts in here. I wasn't really expecting this to come with a whole lot of option parts. You know, I just kind of expected, all right, we might have some different hand option parts, and you have like the blade hands maybe, and that's kind of really about it. But you actually have a really good selection of different parts available for displaying this in a whole bunch of different ways. So definitely really fun, unique experience with this one, just being such a unique and different kind of design. Like I think I said earlier at the start, I have also done a review on the Anubis before. If you guys are interested in that one, you can go back and check that one out as well. But I really like these Zone of the Enders kits just because of how different they are. And of course, the quality of the kits are really nice here from Kotobukiya, so definitely worth checking out. If you guys want to check out the kits for yourself, check out the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. You can check them out there on the website, as well as everything else there from Kotobukiya. I'd also recommend checking out like their Zoids kits or Muv-Luv kits or Frame Arms if you're wanting to check out some other different mecha model kits from Kotobukiya. A lot of really cool stuff there. But let me know what you guys think of the Dolores in the comment section below. Is this one that you guys have, or is it one that you've been wanting to get? And if you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like there. Also make sure that you're subscribed. Really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much. Until next time, hope y'all are having a great day. See y'all later. Bye guys.